Hello and welcome back to another video. In today's video, I'm going to be doing a tournament report on Portland Regionals where I played Charizard. I'm going to go through all my matchups and stuff and my deck list that I ended up playing. So here is my deck list that I went with. I was kind of torn between Charizard or Giratina the day before on Friday when I was testing with my friends, but decided to go Charizard because the deck that I tested a lot more. And yeah, I just submitted the list and played the tournament. And this is the list I went with. And this is very similar to Azul's list. A couple of the key changes is going to be I played 2 Super Rod and only 1 Counter Catcher. Azul played the 2 Counter Catcher, 1 Super Rod. But I really felt I the need for the second Rod with 7 Energy. I know Azul's group this tournament at Portland, they played 6 Energy and 2 Rod. I was a big fan of having you pretty much will always have the energy you need with the 7 Energy and 2 Rod. 2 Rod can help you. Of course, you have a pretty kind of thick evolution line here when you're Charizard, so you're going to want to Super Rod those back as well. So 2 Super Rod was super handy. And then Azul also in San Antonio played the 2 Level Ball, and I decided to play 1 Level Ball, 1 Nest Ball split. Um, exact same tool counts. I was toying around with playing the idea of the Devolution, which I'm pretty sure a large portion of the Charizards did play. Um, I won a League Cup with the Devolution the weekend before, um, and I was planning on playing the Devolution, but I ended up just playing the gloves instead because I decided the gloves were a more consistent option. That were just going to be just more consistently good in the mirror because the Devolution sometimes you can use a Devolution and then your opponent will just draw candy, or you just will be too far behind. The Devolution will work and it just works. So I decided to play Just Like Gloves instead. Also, really good against Roaring Moon 2. It allows you to one-shot a Roaring Moon that is clean if they take 1 prize card, which is super handy as well. So I really did decide to go with the gloves instead of the Devolution. But a lot of the Charizard, I played against 3 mirrors, and they all played Devolution. So the Devolution was, I think, definitely the more popular choice at the tournament. Still playing Vitality Band because this was really good against Giratina, Mirror, it's one-shot Pidgeot. Um, And then I played 2 Collapse, 1 Lost City, while Azul and San Antonio played 1 Collapse, 1 Artisan, 1 Lost City. And I really have been liking this 2 Collapse Stadiums so you can drop because having a quick search or Force Seal Stone for Collapse Stadium kind of sucks. So being able to like Iono yourself and draw a Collapse, so you don't have to quick search for it. So you can just remove that 2 prizer from play, the Luminaire and Rodon, which will be holding the Force Seal Stone, is super duper handy, I found. So I was really a big fan of 2 Collapse Stadium. And besides that, the list I think was pretty similar. I think Azul did play the 2 copies of the 151 Charmander and then 1 copy of the Obsidian Flames one. I decided to go with 3 of this one because this can actually be pretty decent against Mew. Blazing Destruction, discard a Stadium can help you kind of to get rid of the paths versus the Mew. So this is my list, and now I'm going to switch over to my matchups. Um, and I'm just going to talk about these. So round 1, I did have a no-show. So yeah, don't know what they're playing. They also are not listed on PokeStats Live for whatever reason. But round 2, go up against Nicholas, and they are playing Entei Valiant. Game 1, I am able to just establish my Charizards. They do play a Devolution, so I established my Charizards. No Pidgeot, I wasn't able to get Pidgeot, but I established a couple Charizards, and I'm just swinging with them, taking knockouts, and then I go Iono to 2, and he slams down the Devolution, which loses me the game. But then I'm able to bring it back in games 2 and 3 because he does brick a little bit, which is kind of a caveat of the Anti-Valiant deck, is that it does brick a little bit, so I was able to pull that one out. Then round 3, I am against Rowan Stave now. Very good player. Most of you watching probably know who he is. He won Worlds in 2015 in juniors. He won a regional last year. He's gone a lot of type A's. Very good. He's playing Gardevoir. Game 1, if I remember correctly, he doesn't set up very well exactly. And then game 2, he sets up. And then in game 3, he works pretty badly. I'm just able to boss Curlia over and over again. And then he just can't really do anything. So that's kind of the thing with the Gardevoir matchup. Sometimes their deck can just like not function very well, and your deck functions very consistently. Charizard is a pretty consistent deck, so that was what was able to happen against Rowan. Then round 4 against Nick Stewart, he's playing Giratina. And this was a pretty kind of regular set where um, game one I wasn't able to hit an Iono knockout, an Alpus knockout, and then he had lost for game. And then game two, I was able to we played the game and I was able to pull it out, and then we went to time. It was a pretty regular match, all things considered. On the round five, I go against Reagan Retzloff, another super really good player, who did extremely well last season. And he was playing Shen Pao. I had a lot of fun playing against Reagan. He was just really nice to play against. He was playing Shen Pao. Game one, he goes first and gets a turn to one prize card, which then allows me to just go Charizard, Vitality Band, and then knock him out. And he whiffs the knockout and I'm able to boss the Shen Pao, knock it out, and he concedes from there. And then game two, I decide to, or I go second. He doesn't take a knockout this time, and that just gives me, it's a lot more press for me to take knockouts. And he is able to kick that game. And then in game three, he needs to barrel into a water energy in order to get off a Greninja attack. Not only does he whiff the water, but time is also called on that turn. And so in order to actually be able to still win the game, he would have needed to draw the energy off the barrel, retreat, and then attack with the Greninja all before time is called, and then he would have enough turns to actually win the game. But since he wasn't able to do that, we ended up with a tie. But again, it was super nice playing against Reagan. I really enjoyed it. In round six, going against Aaron Wang, who actually is the creator of the TC Evolutions dice and stuff like that. So you've probably seen those, the ability markers. So he was playing Snorlax Stall. In game one, he was the flip. He chooses to go second, and he opens Pidgey. And I'm like, all right, we're good. I have an amazing hand. I'm like, all right, we're going to get Mew, we're going to get Rodon, we're going to draw, and my hand is extremely good at setting up because I think it's a mirror match. And then he goes Arvin and gets the Snorlax, and I am then kicking myself. I failed to realize that he was actually playing the 60 HP Pidgey, which I believe some Pidgey controls do play the 60 HP one over the 50 HP one, just because they don't play energies or enough energies to actually make it work, I'm pretty sure. But I'm kicking myself, so I quickly scoop game one. And then game two goes a little bit longer. I am able to establish a Charizard, Charmeleon. However, I do misplay and I quick search for the Charmeleon, trying to set up for the Lost Vacuum, the tool for the Mimikyu, and then Lost City, knock it out with Charmeleon. But I decide to quick search for Charmeleon instead of Lost Vacuum, and then he plays Misfortune Sisters and mills my only Lost Vacuum because my other one's prized, which means that I can't knock out the Mimikyu in one turn, which is almost basically doomed if he does decide to penny the Mimikyu. So I can do it only thing I can, which is retreat my active Zardy-X into Charmeleon and have to try and two-shot the Mimikyu with no vacuum, but which feels really bad. But luckily, he does not penny the Mimikyu, and I'm able to boss it back up, knock it out plus Lost City, and feeling alright. And then we get in the situation where he just puts down a couple Snorlaxes, and he's using Quick Search to penny loop. I just have to hit him with Pidgeot 120, 120, 120 over and over again, and that does eventually bring us to time. And since he's up 1-0, he does win the set. So kind of a tough loss, but it is what it is. I did accept the losses to Snorlax, and kind of Italian is very winnable. If they take a prize card and you play the Devo can be really good in that matchup, but the Snorlax matchup is pretty unwinnable. So I was not too upset losing that one. It was kind of expected. Round 7, going up against Cameron Kawasaki, who I'm pretty sure is a very good player, also playing Gardevoir. Same thing kind of happens with Rowan, is that 2 out of 3 games they had a pretty slow start, and I was able to just capitalize, take a lot of prize cards quickly, and then they couldn't really do much. Round 8, go against John Ruiz, who's playing Arctina, except it's like Arctina with a 2-2 line of Superior Visar. Game 1, he benches Superior. I'm like, all right, this makes sense, and I'm able to go after it and knock it out, and then he benches the second Superior, which makes things a little bit more difficult, but I'm able to just knock it out. Patch Judge doesn't really do much versus me because I'm able to save my Seal Stones, things like that. But both games, he kind of has a little bit of a slow start. He has to Squovet to able to draw cards. He'd actually Squovet into Arc V-Star one time, so like Landon did in the top 4 of the last Portland. Squovet just really kind of hits different to Portland, I guess. but I'm able to win that one. And then round 9, which is my winning into day 2, against Wilfred, playing Charizard Mirror. He plays a Devo. And I think we had just a pretty average Charizard Mirror match set that I'm able to pull out. And yeah, and then I'm going into day 2 at 6-1-2, feeling pretty good. One of my goals of this tournament was to make day 2 after a pretty uneventful Sacramento regionals where I did pretty bad with Gardevoir. Then I'm really happy to be going into day 2 at 6-1-2, better 6-2-1. So on round 10, I go against Avery, and he's playing Rapid Strike. And I will admit, I think I played, I can't remember exactly, but I played this set a little poorly. I just my brain was not turned on yet. It was like like 8:30 in the morning. My brain was not quite turned on yet, so I played a little bit poorly. But then round 11 versus Anthony playing Mew, pretty good matchup. But I was able to draw out the judges. My strategy against Mew is to if you put the Mew on the bench, turn 1 and then don't push it active, they actually have to decide to either judge or boss the Mew, and they will almost always certainly judge, which is the correct play. Was to go for the judge over the boss the Mew. But then you just have a Mew sitting on the bench, which can help you draw. It can draw you Lost Vacuum, which is really good. It can draw you Rare Candy, Ultra Ball, which was usually a little bit worse because you have a lower hand. But putting your Celebrations Mew on the bench is really good versus Mew. So I was able to pull that one out. And a kind of a crazy game too, where he was having a pretty slow start, where he had to just retreat his Mew if he maxed his lone Genesect and hope, and I was able to get the turn 2 Zard with Vitality Band because we now path down, knock out the Genesect, and then he plays Judge, and he draws into 2 Genesects, a UV, and a Nest Ball. So he just gets his board set up just like that, which is kind of crazy. So we do have a little bit of a closer game, but I am able to pull it out. I'm round 12 versus Chad, playing Charizard Mirror match, also playing a Devo. He played a little bit weird where he chased down Charmeleon, but that just meant that the Devo play was a little bit worse just because he wasn't messing with my Charizard, so his prize tag was still kind of awkward. Game 1, he decided to go ahead and boss a Charmeleon and knock it out with a Pidgeot, which doesn't make much sense because I just quick search for Arvin, and I go with the Vitality Band, one shot the Pidgeot, and I'm in a very good spot now because all of a sudden I went from a kind of risky spot to a really good spot because he no longer has Pidgeot. I knock the Pidgeot. I'm Arvin for the Vacuum and the Vitality Band, so I Vacuum a Silstone that's unused. I knock the Pidgeot. I'm in a pretty good spot, and I do win that game. And then game 2, I don't remember exactly what happens, but I'm pretty sure it's just a pretty standard Charizard Mirror where I am able to win. Then round 13, go against Jim, and Jim is playing Lost Box. And Jim actually opens Mimikyu, which was kind of funny because I thought it was stall, but he mentions Comfy. The Mimikyu is actually super annoying on its own, but not only was he playing Mimikyu, he's also playing a TM Devo, which is really brutal to deal with. Having to retreat your stars and having to deal with Devo and the possibility of a one shot from Roaring Moon, all this stuff was a really annoying to deal with. I do lose that set 0-2, which is unfortunate, but it's fine. He decided to take for the rematch, and I also drew kind of awkwardly in game 2 where I prized Manaphy and all this stuff. Then round 14 versus Johnson, playing Miraidon. I was really scared of Coco at once, but then when I saw the paths come down, the paths and the judges started to get a little bit less scared. But I'm able to overcome the judge paths. He does draw a little bit slowly in game 2. But with that matchup with without the Coco is pretty brutal for Miraidon. So I'm able to win that one even after starting off the set 0-1. I lose game 1. I'm able to bring it back. But yeah, I was really scared of the Coco because the Coco can be pretty bad to deal with. But luckily, I do pull that one out. And then round 15, the final round, which is my win in the top 32 against Kevin Clementi, aka Mellow_Magikarp, which I was super happy to play against in this match just because I didn't really care if I lost, just because I was really looking forward to playing against Kevin. I've been seeing him sitting near me the entire tournament, so I was really looking forward to playing him. We had a really fun match where I was able to actually attack with Charmeleon in game 1 for game on a damaged Charizard, which was pretty cool. And in game 2, he did Brick. He opened Jirachi. He went second. I put my VIP pass. I get out my Mew, put the Mew active. I have Candy Charizard and Boss in hand, and he goes, well, You have it, you have it. He benches Lone Charmander, attaches to Jirachi, fails charge energy, and then it says go ahead, and so I go Candy Charizard, Infernal Rain, retreat, boss the Charmander, and then he reveals me his hand and asks, "What do I do?" And I see a Devo in his hand, like you should Devo me. He's like, "Oh wait, I can Devo you." So he Devos me. I look at my hand, I'm like, "Oh, I don't have anything to do with this. I don't have like an Arven for candy." So I look, and the last card in my hand is like, "Oh wait, I just have a candy." So I go Candy Charizard attack game, and that is it. I'm able to finish in the top 32. We can see right here, I actually finished exactly 32nd. I don't know if we can be able to look at this here. Here we go, standings. Well, I get to finish exactly 32nd. It was a clean top 32. So here, 33 Ross Cawthon, he was 10-4-1, and I was 10-3-2. So every single 10-3-2 made top 32, which is pretty nice. So that's pretty cool. That's going to be my tournament recap. I'll show you guys the deck list again. So yeah, if you guys liked it, don't forget to like. If you guys want to see more, don't forget to subscribe. That's be it. I'll see you guys in the next one.